fell in love with somebody who I would naturally not fall in love with if it weren't for God. And then he eventually said I could not go on with the relationship. So in my dating years, I found that I dated a particular kind of people that were not exactly good for me because of my superficial parameters. You know that perfect bad guy with a touch of tongue talking and spiritual. I did not realize that I was actually prioritizing the bad guy part more than what was essential, which is the spiritual. I did not realize this until I came to the end of myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm done choosing these guys for myself. So when I surrendered my will, God sent my way somebody who did not fit my ideal guy's profile. So while I surrendered my will, my soul needed to make the adjustment, because in my mind I'm like, oh, I want God's will, but somewhere there I was still like, God's will can still be this kind of guy, But God sent me somebody who was not exactly kind of guys that I would like. Immediately I wanted to say no, which is my default. I felt a restraint in my spirit to just hold on and build the friendship, right? And I was like, God, why? Like, I don't like this guy. I don't think I'll ever like him. It's impossible. But then God had me hold on, and then I realized that it's not so bad. It's a kind guy. And suddenly from nowhere I made a switch, like, this is the last good guy on earth. I don't mind this guy at all. He was not bad. Our friendship had grown. We were already talking and we were hanging out a lot. So one evening on my way home, it was like the Holy Spirit literally asked me, like, what exactly is your problem with this guy? What exactly is the issue that you have with him? And because I warmed up to him, I saw that he was a good person. It was nice. I found myself saying that he has large feet. I don't like his feet. Mostly because I already have large feet. I wear a size 41, and I was like, I don't want our children coming out with large feet. You can imagine the reason, but at the time that was what gave me concern. By now we're already talking, we're already friends, as most girls do. So I was like, what kind of women do you like? One day when we were talking, and he had said, okay, you prefer fair women and women who are a little fuller, if you know what I mean. So God brought to my attention that you realize that nobody is perfect, right? As you have things that you prefer, other people also have things that they prefer. And for the first time in my life, I was realizing that people actually make allowances and compromises for me too, and people prefer some things that are not me. That was really humbling and a little embarrassing, even though it was just between me and the Holy Spirit. At that time on my walk home, I felt like the whole world was staring at me like, boo, you see? As you can see, it's only small that I used to light past Lupita. And if you knew me before, I was the thin line between Tinri and Lekpa. I was really slim and, not endowed, if you put it that way. But then that was not a deal breaker for him, because some things mattered more than physicalities, and that was the point I needed to get in my head. So after coming to this humble submission, and feeling the guy even more now that physicalities were out of the way, he asked me out. I prayed and I'm hearing wait in my spirit, and I'm like, Lord, what do you mean wait? This is the last good guy on this planet. I cannot miss out. Me way sharp. No, that must be my flesh talking. That's not the Lord. But my Lord will have me wait. And it wasn't until after over a year that I was going to understand and truly learn the lesson that God was trying to help me learn. He was really trying to help me practically rearrange my priorities. I wrote a confession that was just flat out the will of God, and no physicalities were involved. Much more importantly, I believe that God was helping me learn that I can actually fall head over heels, like flat out head over heels, in love with a guy that wasn't exactly my spec, but actually fit my destiny's profile. And now, when I look at my husband, I know that every repeat in that season was worth it, because I finally aced this one. And I am so super grateful that I eventually learned my lesson forever on this one. I hope that you learned one or two things from the lesson that I learned. Thank you for watching.